Let's look at another very important component of the process of personal financial planning or the process of planning. So far, we looked at the scope, the need of financial planning. We looked at the building blocks and just, we looked at financial goals. But the moment the goals are decided, comes the question of planning to achieve the goals. And there, something becomes very important. Look at it the other way. If somebody were to ask, is there a formula for achieving financial goals, or for wealth creation? The answer would come from this module. Money has value. However, that value changes with time. Those of you who are following the union budget that the finance minister presents in the parliament, typically the next day, the newspapers would analyze that union budget, but within that, they would always highlight one component called inflation and translate this inflation into something else. And that something else would be the rupee was, let's say, something in 1947. So assume that you had 100 rupees in 1947 and you just kept it as it is, as a currency note. What would be the value of that rupee? Over a period of time, because of the prices of items going up, the purchasing power of rupee goes down. So over a period of time, that value of that 100 rupees keeps coming down. In other terms, as they say, the value of a rupee today is higher than a rupee next year. Look at it the other way. Apart from loss of purchasing power, one also has the potential to invest that money and earn something on that. And from that point of view, if I invest properly, the chances are my 100 rupees of today, if invested properly, would be more than 100 rupees tomorrow. And that's why if I don't invest this 100 rupee today, then I'm actually losing out. Right? Whichever way you look at it, money has what is called a time value. Whether you look at it in form of consumption or investment, as we just highlighted, money today is valued more than money tomorrow or money in future. One of the most commonly used and one of the most powerful and relevant equations related to this concept of time value of money is something that we learned in secondary school mathematics class. This equation is also called the compound interest equation. Essentially, it says the amount accumulated over a period is equal to the principal invested multiplied by, in brackets, 1 plus rate of return raised to the power of number of time periods over which the compounding happens. What happens in this case is, when you invested something today, you earned some return on it. Now that return is what you get. Take for example, you invested 100 rupees in a bank deposit which gives you 7% per year. You invest 100 rupees today, a year down the line, this 100 would become 107. So 100 plus the 7 rupee interest for the year. Now, if you invest the same 100 rupees for a period of 3 years, what happens? Somebody would say, you invest that 100 rupees over a 3-year period. In each of the years, you get 7 rupees. And at the end of the 3 years, you get your 100 rupees back. Correct. Now comes the next variant, which says, what if you invest that 7 rupee also back in the same deposit? And then the magic happens. So in the first year, your 100 becomes 107. Now this 107 entire thing is reinvested. So in the first year, whereas you earned 7% on 100, the next year, second year's opening balance is 107. So you are going to earn 7% on 107 rupees, which would become 7 rupees 49 paisa interest. So the 107 would become 114.49. The earning went up to the extent of interest on interest, and that's what compounding is all about. Let's break this equation down into 5 components. The amount that you invest today, the P, is called present value. So this is P. The rate of return, R, is here. The amount that you accumulate is called the future value, A. And the time period is N. So far, so good. But in real life, we don't invest only once. We often invest periodically, like in case of SIP in a mutual fund scheme. So when there are periodic investments, you'll change this equation by putting A equal to P1 into 1 plus R raised to N1 plus P2 into 1 plus R raised to N2, because if it's invested at different periods, the N also changes from N1 to N2 to N3 at whatever way, and the amount also could be different, P1, P2, P3, etc. This periodic cash flow is referred as PMT, a version or short of payment. This can be used in multiple ways. This entire equation can be used in multiple ways. Your present value or the periodic cash flow can be seen as payments towards a loan that you had taken. Multiple ways one can look at things.